Okay, so there's been a lot going on in sports this week in town. And it's been just a busy week just for me. So I haven't been able to get, I have a couple videos I wanted to do. I haven't been able to do it. So we're just going to combine all of the videos into one video. Vikings. Okay, this was like very much in the beginning of the week. They had their first workouts for the off season, getting guys in here, some of the the new guys, but also Kirk, and he talked for the first time since in terms of like talking to the media since everything happened this off season with the coaching staff and GM, and then of course his own deal, and the big headline from that was that Kirk said he wanted to retire as a Viking, um, and of course this threw the Kirk derangement syndrome people into into a frenzy because they're like, "Oh God, we can't bear to have him here another 5 or 6 years or however many years," because these people are too fucking stupid to understand that. And Kirk, said himself that he would have, if he wants to retire a Viking, he's going to have to, he'll have to earn that with his play on the field, um, which is the right answer. But these people were all pissed off, thinking, "Oh my God, we're gonna have him for another bunch of 8 and 9, 9 and 8 years." These people are not. I mean, I've made it clear very many times that these people are not smart. These Kirk haters are not smart. But do they? Do these people not understand that if Kirk Cousins is here, let's say he is here for another 5, 6, 7 years, however many years he's able to play and play at a high level, that means he's continued to play at a high level. That means he's continued to be a very good quarterback. And more than likely, and it hasn't always, and certainly this has been one of the stories of his career, his play on the field does not always correlate to wins and losses. Not his fault, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't always happen. You would think that if he's here another 5 or 6 years and continues to play at a high level, high enough level that they want to keep him, keep paying him, that you know that's translated more to wins, and they've accomplished you know more than they have and certainly in the previous 4 years. But that's that's the Kirk haters. They don't. They just hate Kirk. They don't get it. But I would love it if he retires a Viking, because if he does, that means he's continued to be very good. And I'm on record saying I think he's going to be better than ever with KOC leading a real offense that can play to his strengths. Um, so if he's here another 5 6 years, however many years, that's great, because he's played his way onto that. Whatever it's his next, it would be another 1 or 2 contracts after the one he's on now. Like, he will have earned it. He's earned it now. Look at some of these fucking contracts. There's people out there spinning the Derek Carr extension as team friendly. He's getting paid way more than Kirk. It's just so stupid. But I'm all for Kirk retiring as a Viking, because I'm all for having a really good quarterback for many more years to come. And any sane Vikings fan should be as well. Timberwolves, they made the playoffs. What was that? Tuesday night they had the playing game against the Clippers. I'm always of the opinion that the Wolves are going to lose. I'm I wouldn't say I'm that emotionally invested in the Timberwolves anymore. Really not. But um, they they got it done. They had a you know terrible game from Towns. He got fouled out, but then they went on a run after he fouled out. Like, they showed some grit. They showed some real fight and grit, and they came back and won. But this isn't really about the win. Like, it's a good win. It's a nice win. Now they get to play Memphis in the first round, which this actually a series I think they could win, or they certainly should be competitive. This should definitely be a 6 or 7 gamer. But the big controversy with the Wolves was after the game, because kind of leading the charge a little bit was Pat Bev, and fans were raucous. Team was celebrating. I think it was Beverly jumped up on the score table and he tore his jersey off and threw it in the crowd. Oh my God, the fucking backlash to this. Not the jersey throw, just the fact that they celebrated. I mean, immediately, like the fucking TNT dipshits, they're all on there. They're just mocking them. How dare they celebrate? What are they doing? It's just a fucking play-in game. And then a bunch of local media guys are ripping them. A lot of just everyone's ripping them for celebrating this win. And this isn't even about just, because the defense a lot of people were putting up there was, hey, look, it's the Timberwolves. They've only made the playoffs once since 2004. We don't get anything here with the Wolves. Like, let them have this. That's not really my thing. My perspective on this. My perspective is, what do we always hear? Like, whether it's fans, media, they rip athletes all the time if there's a perception that they don't actually care. Like, they're just cashing a paycheck. They don't care if they win or lose. All they care about is that they're getting paid. And then you see something like Tuesday night, and you can say it was over the top. I don't care. Like I don't think they were just putting on a show. The players. I don't think fans. Like, I don't think anyone was like just putting on a show. Like, they're happy. They're celebrating. They got a win. They got a big win that puts them in the playoffs. And they're getting just trashed for it, nationally and locally. It's like, what do you want from athletes? Do you want them to be just emotionless robots, or do you want them to show emotion and actually care about something? Because from my perspective, I'm at this point in time very much a casual Timberwolves fan. I have not been emotionally invested since KG left. But seeing that game Tuesday night, I'm like, yeah, this is a really, a likable team, a team you can respect, a team you can get behind. And they're happy that they won a game, and that they came back and won a game after their star player fouled out. Like, there's nothing wrong with celebrating that. I don't care if it's over the top. Who's the fucking, who's the arbitrator of what's over the top? This kind of shit would never be said about, and a lot of this is market size. It would never be said about a big market team. If a big market team wins a game like that and celebrates, no one fucking says anything. But they're mad. A lot of some of the national stuff, they're mad that Minnesota beat Los Angeles. They're mad about that. It's just bullshit. Why is that a thing that is getting people mad and making them an object for mockery because they celebrated, because they give a shit? Boo fucking who that they give a shit. We should want athletes, this is especially for professional athletes. I mean, the amateur ones, I don't think they really get mocked for if they celebrate. Like, we should want professional athletes to care about something more than just the paycheck that they're getting. And they show that they do in this instance, and they get ripped for it. What the hell is the matter with these people, man? Like, let the fans have it. Let the players have it. Like, it's such just garbage to rip these guys for this. Like, what did they do wrong? They celebrated a big win. Maybe it was over the top, but who cares? Fans enjoyed it. Everyone enjoyed it. And then here comes the fucking media that always has to just shit on everything and tell us how wrong that was to do. Because I guess then they don't have to give the team credit for a win that they probably didn't think they were going to get or something. I don't know. Just like, let players celebrate. Let fans celebrate. Like, fucking world sucks. Let's just have some fun once in a while. And speaking of celebrating, hey, we almost got to see history the other day. It was my first trip out to Target Field this year for I think the coldest fucking baseball game I've ever been to. There's one or two others that were pretty pretty cold. There was one against Houston a few years ago I went to where I had many layers. But it was Twins Dodgers Wednesday afternoon. Kershaw was pitching, and it wasn't an interesting game other than that because the Twins stunk, and Chris Paddock went out there and pitched like an idiot for a couple innings and put us in a hole, and relief pitcher gave up 3 straight home runs. So there was nothing to this game except for Clayton Kershaw, and most of the fans that were actually there were Dodger fans. It seemed like, and it gets through the 7th inning. He's still got a perfect game, and like he's throwing like 80 pitches or something, and he's just it's not even dominating. It's like it's like dominating, but we also weren't putting up any fight. Like there was just no fight in the Twins. Like they were going to have a perfect game thrown against them, 100%. But pitch count obsession wins again. And at this point, it's 6. It was like 6-0 when they took him out. Maybe even been 7-0 by then. And I'm pissed. Like I'm like I've never seen a no-hitter in person, let alone a perfect game. There's only been like 23 in the history of baseball. And like, fuck you for taking Kershaw out. They took him out. The fans booed. The Dodger fans booed when the reliever came in from bullpen. And I don't blame him. Like, and of course, a couple batters later, boom, Sanchez got a hit, and that there went the no-hitter and perfect game. Like all in one swoop, and I was pissed. Like that would have been absolute history. Even if it was just a no hitter, that would have been history. But I mean, a perfect game really, and he was going to get it. There's no doubt in my mind. Like there's some times where you see like maybe a guy gets pulled from a no hitter or something like that, and you're like, well, maybe he would have gotten it. No, he would have gotten it. Kershaw would have absolutely thrown a perfect game against the Twins. But that was taken away because, the chance, because at that point, I don't give a fuck about the game. Like the Twins were going to lose that game anyway. Who cares? Give me the history. Give me something that is absolutely, bucket list material. But, and the Dodger fans there got robbed too. I mean, and I know like this was an argument all rest of the day Wednesday. Like, yeah, he had an injury last year. It was obviously a shorter spring training. He hadn't pitched a ton, but it's like this. We're how many years into this shit with the pitch counts? The slavish obsession with pitch counts that managers and organizations show, and there's no evidence that being this obsessed about pitch counts and controlling pitch counts and controlling workload has anything to do with whether or not a pitcher gets hurt. There's none. There's just none. Pitcher, every year it gets more extreme with this shit. With limiting workloads, pitchers are getting hurt every bit as often as they ever have. It's not helping anything. It's just not helping anything. Except, what does it do in a situation like Wednesday? It robs fans of a chance of seeing something, really, special once in a lifetime. I mean, and it's like, and all arguments are the same arguments. Well, what if he goes out and gets hurt the next start? Well, what if he does? Is that because, like, if let's say he pitches the full 9, throws another 30 pitches, gets the perfect game, and then he goes and gets hurt sometime in the future? Did he get hurt because of the 9-inning perfect game? Where's the link? Show me the link. No one can show the link. Pitchers just get hurt randomly all the time. Pitchers get hurt. They go out and they're going out in warm-ups and they're getting hurt. There's nothing to indicate that controlling pitch counts does anything to prevent injuries. Nothing. So it's like they took him out, and of course Kershaw said all the right things because why wouldn't he? He's not gonna. What is he gonna do? When the media asks him after the game, is he gonna come out and rip the manager? Like, come on, that's not gonna happen. But, um, you know, I'm just dumbfounded by this stuff. Like, if he goes and pitches, they took him out at 80 pitches after 7 innings. If he pitches the rest of the season now, completely healthy, is that because they limited his workload early in the season? There's no proof of anything. It's just it's confirmation bias. If he pitches the rest of the season healthy, well, he did that because we controlled his workload. Well, you don't know that. There's pitchers that there's so many pitchers, Twins pitchers, everybody. They go out of their way to control, the workloads of pitchers. They don't want to overextend. These guys get hurt anyway. It doesn't matter. If you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. And we're not talking about like Kershaw was going to have to throw 150 pitches to get this perfect game. And sure, if he went out in the eighth inning, gave up a hit the first batter, then you yank him. Sure, that's fine. Like, this stuff like this is what hurts baseball more than just about anything. You can talk about pace of play. That's an issue. How they market stars. All these things. Stuff like this, where it's just this analytic overload. Where only thing, I mean, what was World Series a couple years ago? Tampa Bay takes their starting pitcher out in an elimination World Series game because of pitch count. They cared more about the pitch count than staying alive to win a World Series. These managers and these organizations have lost their fucking mind, and it's a lost war. I'm well aware that it's a lost war. It's never going back the other way. I wouldn't be surprised if in another 10 or 20 years we don't even have starting pitchers. Not in the traditional sense. It'll just be like, no one's going to pitch more than 2 or 3 innings ever. We'll just say, hey, you go pitch 3 innings and then you're out. Doesn't even matter if you pitch well. You're just out. It's going to be something like that, because it's never going back to the days of guys pitching 9 innings, 8, 9 innings routinely, throwing 150 pitches or whatever. We don't even know, because they didn't keep track of pitch counts back then. We don't even know. I'm sure there's information somewhere we can find. Someone's probably gone back and watched the film, like, of Jack Morris in Game 7, how many pitches he threw, but they weren't keeping track of it at the time, because it's irrelevant. Not all pitchers are the same. Not all pitches are the same. Not all innings are the same. Not all games are the same. There's so many fucking variables to this shit. But pitch count, no, only pitch count matters. Nothing else matters. And it robs fans. It robbed me. I wanted to see a fucking perfect game, or no hitter at least, and we were gonna see it. And the Dodger fans they were gonna see it, and it was robbed because of pitch count obsession. And this isn't the first time this has happened. It'll happen again many times. It's never gonna stop. I mean, it's never gonna fucking stop. It's never going back the other way. We're gonna have to deal with this forever as baseball fans. And there's never been proof. There's never been any proof that it prevents injuries. If anything, it probably causes more injuries, because pitchers don't have endurance anymore. And a guy like Kershaw, he's pitched a long time. He absolutely, he could do it. Like, I'm sorry, he's a guy who's pitched for a lot of years. Like, yeah, he had an injury. Okay. Doesn't mean he's gonna have another injury. And if he does have another, like, if he gets injured in June, well, what did you save? Like, it's insanity. It's just, there's no proof of any of this stuff. This obsession with pitch counts and controlling pitch counts. There's no evidence that this actually does anything to prevent injuries. None. If you look at the actual how pitchers are getting hurt just as much as ever, the evidence points that it's doing more to hurt pitchers. But that's what happened. We got robbed of a chance at history, And instead, you know, that game will be forever remembered for something else. And it sucks because, you know, it could have been a special game, and yeah, rather the Twins be the ones throwing a perfect game or a no hitter, but you know, nevertheless, it would have been very, very cool and memorable to see it. But all right, so so that does it for the multi-topic video. There's probably something going on with the Wild too. I don't really do Wild videos, but you know, they're rolling towards the playoffs. But so who knows what the next video will be? what I'll have to complain about next. But so yeah, just to sum up, I want Kirk to retire Viking, and you should too. Let people celebrate when they win something, because that's what we watch sports for, is to enjoy things. And fuck Dave Roberts for robbing us of history. Pitch count doesn't mean shit. So that's all I got to say about that.